Last time on Hasta, Alaska, we drove the Alcan Highway up to Haines, Alaska to retrieve our burnt-out Kombi, only to discover that the damage was worse than we had thought.
Everything in this Kombi has just been destroyed. Shit, Ben, this is going to take forever to clean.
We found a garage just outside of Whitehorse in the Yukon where we completely gutted the Kombi, losing most of our possessions. Now, like a phoenix from the flames, we must bring Capito back to life. Basically, the fire damage, the worst of the fire damage is in the bed, I think. I don't think it's usable anymore. All the smoke went through there, it absolutely stinks. We have to replace the foam. Doing that in Whitehorse is really expensive and not really worth it, so finding an old Volkswagen bus like this is a real score.
Yeah.
Do you think that we can make this fit in Capito?
Yeah, it's perfect size. It's a bit smaller, but I think we can fit it in.
It is, and it's hard to find foam in this town.
Yeah.
And this is already constructed and ready to go.
This is our new bed. You'll come in with us. Going down. Whoever owns this Westphalia in the future, I apologise for stealing your bed, but it was a really desperate situation.
I'll come down and come right out of these tracks. And then you could use that to replace your headliner.
Please take the whole thing.
Salvaging some more money.
We'll take this, we'll take that.
It was out with the old and in with the new, and we started for the first time to believe that we might get our home back. But the inside wasn't the only part of Capito that needed attention.
Some lucky bastard didn't get that, huh?
I know. The reason the Kombi was left up in Alaska so close to our Arctic finish line was because of our faulty transmission. And now, 10 months later, finally, we had a brand new, custom-built Rancho performance transaxle to get us back on the road. We also felt very fortunate that we had found such a great shop here at John's Auto, and honestly, we couldn't have found a more capable and knowledgeable mechanic who understood our passions completely.
We got this car in Perth in Western Australia. Then we drove one round around Australia in 2 years, plus Tasmania. Then we shipped from Adelaide to LA, drove all the way down to Guatemala. And then we drove all the way up to Canada, and that's where we love it. And that's where we are now.
We were really lucky to bump into someone that knows so much about Volkswagens, but also about the travel, you know, about what it's like to be on the roads with a Volkswagen. You understand.
A lot of people signed the glove box when they helped us. But on the other side, they maybe break down some more often, but it's easy to fix too. If you break down with a new car.
Easy for you.
Oi.
You know about it.
You've done it as well. So.
Yeah.
As you can probably imagine, Andre is an extremely capable mechanic, so we asked him to see if our engine would survive the upcoming Alaska challenge.
Doesn't look good, guys. I really love cleaning my engine, you know. So I've taken it out 11 times, just because I like to, you know, touch it, get my hands greasy. It wasn't our intention to take the engine apart again, I think for the 11th time now, but honestly, I've run out of fingers and I'm starting to lose count. This time the head was pulling away from the case, yes, again, just like it did in Baja and just like it did in Guatemala, and well, you get the picture. This is part of our oil leak. See how it's all black here? You can see here that the head wasn't sealed properly, which means a loss of compression, power and terrible fuel economy. But mostly it means a death sentence for our Kombi. And given the remote places that we're intending to visit in the coming months, we definitely want to fix this now. We have to put some of these case savers into our engine. The problem is that if we mess this up, this is the largest size that we can go. So if this one maneuver doesn't work, the whole engine is toast. Fortunately for us, I've had a lot of practice with this problem, and this time I didn't have to tackle it alone. So we managed to get the engine back together in no time at all. The first time I learned to do this was under a tree in Panama in the rainy season. Believe me when I tell you that being able to do this here at this well-equipped garage made the job so much easier, and we were extremely fortunate to be granted permission to do this work at John's Auto. These guys are legends. Morning.
Morning.
This is tent life. This is where we've been living. Let me give you a little tour. This tent is actually bigger than the Kombi. Sorry, it's a little bit messy today, but this has got all of our stuff in it. So
It's actually the biggest tent I've ever been in, so thanks to Brett, as we would have been living in that tiny tent of yours. We can't begin to tell you how incredible it was to be able to camp on site here. It meant that we wasted no time bringing our Kombi back to life, and it made a huge difference to the rescue effort.
put kettle on, love.
Coffee?
Yeah, I think so.
But not only that, you wouldn't believe how exceedingly hospitable these guys were towards us. Yes, our tiny home had been destroyed, and that totally sucked. But the whole experience wasn't too bad. In fact, we actually had a pretty good time. And that is completely due to our new friends who taught us not to cry over spilt oil.
A little touchy on the gas.
And who somehow seemed to make a crappy situation actually kind of fun.
That's the fastest I've ever been on a motorbike, ever. Felt like a king going down the road in this thing.
When we weren't working on mechanical issues, we'd bring the Kombi back outside and continue with the restoration. Over a 3-week period, we slowly brought Capito back to life. We had cleaned every inch of our home. We had reset, and now we are applying new paint to seal away any last traces of the stinky smoke.
We like to move like this, like a long part of paint in Mexico, you know? You make it a dance, you know? It's a more fun. I like the Kombi life. I like to paint and fix my Kombi. It makes me very happy, very nice, very nice.
Capito's wooden decor had absorbed the worst of the smoke damage, and so it was all sanded and revarnished. What we couldn't repair, we replaced. Our front seats were stripped back to their metal skeletons and rebuilt using material and foam salvaged from the 40-year-old junkyard bus.
You guys ever done upholstery before?
No, first time.
You guys did a fine job. Yay!
You know, I was thinking to myself, I've spent quite a bit of time working on this Kombi, but I guess like any true partnership, you give a lot and you get a lot back.
Deja vu?
Seriously,
Deja vu?
You know, it's one thing to work on your own troublesome Kombi, but it's quite another to put in the hard hours on someone else's rig.
Get to it, Brett. No slacking. Come on. Guy's a legend. There was a point when I didn't have a visa. It didn't look like I was going to be able to go to Alaska, and then the Kombi burnt down. All of that, you know, those troubles happening around the same time. I didn't really want to come up here, and if it hadn't been for you kind of going, yeah, we can do this, we wouldn't be up here rescuing this Kombi. I mean it when I say that we had been ready to throw in the towel and give up on our Alaska dream. But this man, Brett, gave us the encouragement, resources and belief that we needed to persevere. He'd tell us that he wanted a piece of his own Alaskan experience, but really he hadn't got that, and we knew that that wasn't the reason that he was here.
I'm an old school type character, and I think people helping people is a good thing, and it would be good to see more of it.
Brett had joined us for what was undoubtedly one of the greatest challenges we faced on this entire journey, and the sacrifices he made were significant and truly humbling.
We took him flying over the mighty Yukon so he could see with his own eyes the land he'd enabled us to explore. This experience was a tiny token of our appreciation and admiration for our new friend. Now we must say goodbye to Brett, the guy that drove to the top of the world to help two strangers realize their dream. He will tackle the 2,500-mile solo journey back to rejoin his family in California, and that is a hard journey to do alone.
The Kombi crew is back to 2 plus 1 rather excited dog. After a lot of hard work, we finally have our Kombi back, and in better condition than it has ever been. We must say goodbye and thanks to our new friends at John's Auto who had welcomed us into their little Yukon commune and been our comrades at a time when we were in need of friends more than ever before. Finally, we are ready to tackle the closing chapters of this mammoth Chile to Alaska expedition. At last, we are ready to explore the final frontier, and we cannot wait to see what the road has in store for us.